Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. This is Johnny TCG and I am excited to see you today. Today we've got a jewelry Bonney video, and I know I just did a jewelry Bonney video, but I've just been having so much fun with the leader. I've been making changes to my deck list and I think this is my best one yet. Today's sim games are really meta relevant. We've got a black-yellow Luffy game. We've got 1.5 blue DOFFY games. 1.5 might be a little pushing it. You'll see why. And then we also have a black smoker game. And I gotta tell you, black smoker's a hard matchup for this deck. Maybe I'm just not the Bonney GOAT, but I gotta say, it can be tough sometimes. That was definitely one of my crazier games I've ever played. I won't spoil it too much, but there was a pretty big comeback if I say so myself, so I would definitely recommend you sticking around and checking that game out. I don't think we need a full deck breakdown today, but what I would like to highlight is some of the key cards and changes that I made to this deck since my previous 8.5 Bonney video. It was like a week ago, but changes have been made. First, the most out of place card right off the bat is Don Krieg, 6 cost, 7,000 power, not searchable, no counter. This card is kind of a meme, but also really good into DOFFY. On play, you may trash a card from your hand and then KO 2 of your opponents cost 4 or less characters that are rested, which when you're playing against DOFFY is going to be a lot of them. And then Don times 1, when you're attacking, this character gets double attack. We're playing this card mainly for its on-play effect. Being able to clear 2 of DOFFY's 4-cost bodies for only 6 Don is a pretty good deal. I understand with only running 2 of them and having them not be searchable, that you're not going to really see it all the time, but when you do see it in the right matchups, I think it could be great. And when you do see it and you don't need it in a matchup, that's why we run this. We've got a lot of cards with 0 counter in this deck, and that's why we run the 0 cost event, trying to get value from cards that don't really have any counter. Another change I've made with this deck is that I've gone down 1 Rouge. A Rouge is not amazing in the current meta. Law in the new DOFFY deck is just going to bounce it right back to your hand, and then of course Lucci is going to do Lucci things, and the same with Smoker. They're going to do black things and pop it. The top end that I'm really satisfied with at the moment is 4 DOFFYs. I think in my previous video I was only running 2 and that was not enough. This card is gonna be your win condition in a couple different matchups. When you're able to chain these together, which you hopefully will be able to do by searching for it with your Baby 5 searcher, you're able to really just dominate the late game, and it's just so frustrating for your opponent because they literally can't do anything with some of the bodies they played. I'm also a big Hody Jones believer now. It is so good. You'll see in one of the games, I think it's the Smoker game, just how crazy Hody Jones can be. Even in some games that I don't have recorded, I remember, I think it was against a Lucci, they had 2 Rebekahs up and 2 life cards, and it didn't make a difference. I had a couple cards already on the field, threw down the Hody Jones, and I think they just conceded right then and there. There was nothing they can do to stop me. In your blue DOFFY matchup, which, as I'm expecting it to be a big part of the meta in 8.5, I think we really need to tech for it. Eustace Captain Kidd is so important. I think if you can put one of these down, you're likely going to win. The thing is, not a lot of DOFFYs are running more than 1 copy of Red Rock, if they even run it at all. Some lists don't even run it. So if you can get this down, you're going to be golden. We're only running 2 of the Shanks from the new starter deck. I think this is a good number. I love this card sometimes. It's really good, but it's not like game changing all the time, you know? Like in the right situation, being able to clear a rested body, especially on curve. So for example, if they play a Jack, this is the perfect way to deal with a Jack, is just throw down the Shanks, KO it, boom, profit, you're golden. But other times using 9 Don feels really expensive. Don't get me wrong, it's a good effect, but sometimes you need more than that in the late game, especially if you're behind. While I have been doing really well with this deck recently, there are a couple matchups that I do think are on the more challenging end. Number 1, maybe it's just me, but Marco seems like a tough deck. The way they're able to pop some of your bodies with the new Edward Newgate and then The new Rush Ace as well is able to apply a lot of pressure. I've been having beef with that deck just because it's so annoying to deal with. If they're able to start doing some Sanji into Whitebeard or Sanji into Silver's Rayleigh, you're going to be in trouble. There's no way around it. Overall, though, I'm loving this deck. I think it's so much fun. I've been kind of struggling with finding a deck I want to play in the 8.5 meta, and I think Bonney's going to be the one. It also has a tough Lucci matchup sometimes, but a lot of decks have a tough Lucci matchup, you know? There's not much you can really do about it. You gotta hope a little bit that they don't high roll you and just see every single thing. You also have to see your own things, and just, it's a war of attrition sometimes. When you're playing against a black deck and they have to use a lot of their resources, if they become starved and just end up with 1 or 2 cards in hand, if that card's not a Gecko Moria, they can be out of luck just because they're not going to be able to find the pieces they need to remove your characters, and that is when you profit. Before we get into the gameplay, of course, I've got a giveaway for you. I'm a man of the people, I'm a man of my word, and here we are, another day, another giveaway. Today we're going to give away a custom blue DOFFY Leader. I know this isn't a blue DOFFY video, and so you might be like, what the heck? But I've got an extra one laying around, and I think it's pretty cool, and who doesn't love blue DOFFY nowadays? Okay, some people might not like blue DOFFY nowadays. He might actually get hated by the end of 8.5 meta, but I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate a blue DOFFY custom leader card. So if you want to win it, all you have to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. Then I'll choose a random comment. If you're a US based commenter, I'll send it to you completely free. That's all you got to do. 1, leave a like, 2, leave a comment, and yeah. Who doesn't want a custom leader? It's not my art. It's art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise app. I'm not the owner. I'm not selling it. I am just a silly guy. One last thing before we get to the gameplay. Thank you so much for all the support. We did reach my goal of 700 subs by the end of October. Now the real push is 1,000 by the end of the year. If you appreciate the content, if you appreciate meta decks, if you appreciate off meta decks, consider hitting that subscribe button. My wife said we have to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year, or she's kicking me out of the house. So please, I don't want to sleep on the street. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's prove to my wife that we can hit 1,000 subs. And yeah, roll the gameplay. Is DOFFY really the best deck in format? Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen. First game up. We are going to keep this hand. We see the Krieg. That is what we're looking for. I made this whole video just to show him off and show off the new deck. We also have Carrot, Cavendish, Jewelry Bonney Searcher. This is really just an amazing hand, so glad we kept it. We are going to find a Eustace Captain Kidd. While I could have used some more counter with a Rouge, you got to go with Eustace Captain Kidd. He is so good in this matchup because, believe it or not, a lot of blue DOFFYs aren't running Red Rock. They're going to do a blind leader ability. I'm going to take that, and they're just going to rage quit. Don't be that guy, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be able to practice for real life situations, and in real life, if you don't get your blind DOFFY leader ability, are you just gonna rage quit in a tournament? Probably not. So GG's, I guess. Alright, let's have a real game against the blue DOFFY. Honestly, this opening hand's perfectly fine, but we're actually looking for the Don Krieg just to prove its viability in the matchup, and so we're gonna mulligan it. We do still get a Cavendish and a Eustace Captain Kidd. I said before, and I'll say it again, Eustace Captain Kidd is goated in the blue DOFFY matchup. We're gonna do a Bonney search, and we're just gonna take the 2K. We don't have a ton of counter in hand. I think that'll be more valuable than the Rouge, who will get easily popped back to our hand by a Trafalgar Law. 2,000 at Jewelry Bonney with Buggy. I gotta let that one go, RIP Bonney. And now they're gonna do leader ability, play out the Edward Weevil. That is not ideal. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Pirate King, Krieg himself, he's back. We are just gonna swing 6 into the Weevil. It doesn't feel good though, just because I know they are gonna counter with it, and they're not even gonna have to give me a 2K. They do give me a 2K anyway, but with the 4-cost Gecko, they can bring that 2K right back. Now we'll do another Bonney search, and we'll take another 2K Scratch Manapoo, just because we couldn't take anything else. We did bottom deck 2 DOFFYs. That feels bad, but hey, we are still sitting pretty good. Next turn, we'll probably play out the Krieg and KO 2 of their 4-cost bodies. They're going to do 6,000 at Jewelry Bonney. We are just going to use Leader ability to rest the Edward Weevil. And Bonnie's got to go. They'll probably play Jinbei here is what I expect. They'll do Gecko. Unfortunately, they only have one rested 4-cost body, and so Krieg does not make sense here. I'm thinking maybe we actually go 5-cost Jewelry Bonney or Cavendish. Decisions. Yeah, I think, in hindsight, I think I should have done Cavendish and then swung big with Bonney into Weevil. Even though the Weevil probably would not have died, I think I like that play better. They're going to do a Perona, set the top of their deck. That is not a good sign. We like to see them say, we're going to put it at the bottom of their deck. They'll still have 6 Dawn remaining. That is plenty of Dawn to have a solid play. A 4-cost Boa from their hand would be really good, and then they'll be set up perfectly for a Leader ability. 2 Dawn on Leader, we're not going to see the 4-cost Boa. They are going to swing into my life, play out the Jinbei off of Leader ability. That is great for them. We are going to rest the Gecko Moria and then probably just take this. But they could pudding us, and that would be bad news. Yeah, I wonder. I think I should probably be countering out of this with my 0-cost event just because I do not want to get hit with the pudding. I would definitely want to decentivize that, because I liked some of the cards I have in my hand right now. We're going to 0-cost event out of that and trash the Basil Hawkins with it. 3 Dons still left up. They might just go 5,000 with Buggy. They will. And yeah, we'll just take that. We get another 8-cost Eustace Captain Kidd. That may come in handy. This has definitely got to be a Krieg turn. Let's show what our boy can do. So my original intention with swinging at their bodies on board first was that they would obviously counter to keep their bodies alive, and then I could drop the Krieg and make that counter have gone to waste. They let the Jinbei go, which isn't too surprising, but the fact that they let the Gecko go too, that is surprising. And so I was excited to play the Krieg and get great value out of it, but now we're not going to get amazing value. We'll still get pretty good value just because we can get rid of the Weevil too. But like, the intention was to show it getting rid of 2 4-cost bodies, not a 4-cost Edward Weevil and a 1-cost Buggy. But we're going to do that play. It still makes a lot of sense. Playing the Cavendish would not have been a bad idea either. But I do think the Krieg is still a good play there. It's going to set us up nicely as a 7,000 power body on board that can swing into their characters or swing double attack into life. Unfortunately, they will Red Rocket to get rid of it, but that is actually great news for us. The reason it's great news is that is a Red Rock that they are not going to have available to use on a Eustace Captain Kidd. Not every Doffy uses Red Rock, and if they do, they never run more than 2. So the fact that we're going to be able to play out a Eustace Captain Kidd, knowing that 1 of potentially 2 of their Red Rocks are already gone, they might not even run more than 1. So I really like the spot that we're in. 5,000 into Jinbei. They are going to counter out of that. They saved their counter. 6,000 into Law. They're going to 2K out of that. That's fine. Now we go Eustace Captain Kidd. We're going to be able to play out the 2-cost Rosinante to go with it. And we are set, ladies and gentlemen. I don't actually know if we're set, but we're in a pretty good spot. If they want to use another Red Rock, that is perfectly fine. We have another 8-cost Kidd to establish. I really like where we're at right now. We have a Dawn up to use our Leader ability. Oftentimes, things can be awkward for Doffys when you drop the 8-cost Eustace Captain Kidd. They're going to play down the 4-cost Law, bounce the Jinbei back to their hand, and then bounce my Don Quixote Rosinante blocker to my hand. And so now if they swing really big into the Eustace Captain Kidd, that could be awkward. They are going to do just that. They're going to swing 12,000 into it. I can save it, which is a little bit interesting. It will take a lot of cards from hand, but I do think it's worth saving. Again, we don't want to keep too big of a hand size because we could get hit with a pudding, and that would be bad. We're going to get rid of a couple different cards using the 0 cost event. We'll trash the Cavendish and then a 2k counter. Not ideal. We do get a Cavendish right back. And now I got to think, do we want to play out another Eustace Captain Kidd? Is that crazy? We're going to start with 9,000 from Kidd into the Weevil. I imagine they'll take this. I guess I should have started out with the 6,000 Bonney swing into the Weevil, but I don't know how much it'll really matter. They are going to counter out of that, which is pretty interesting. 6,000 into the Weevil now. I imagine they're going to counter out of this too. If they countered out of the first one, they might as well counter out of the second one. They do, and I didn't expect that at all, but it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to establish another Eustace Captain Kidd this turn. I'm going to save that for next turn. I think I'm going to go Cavendish and 2-cost Rosinante. We don't have a lot of counter in our hand, which is bad. We probably won't be able to defend the Eustace Captain Kidd if they have a way to bounce the Rosinante from our field to our hand. Now we're going to go 8,000 into the Weevil. They let it go, and we're kind of chilling, ladies and gentlemen, unless they have a Red Rock. If they have a Red Rock, then we're not chilling. But otherwise, we're in pretty good spirits. They do have the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. That is a good find for them. Going to be able to bottom deck Cavendish, and I assume the Rosinante as well. Then they'll swing 8,000 with one of their characters, or maybe they'll do 7,000 and just do leader ability. 8,000 with their leader. I'll rest one of their law characters, and then I'm going to give them the 2k. I over-countered there, but the Cavendish is just such a good card that I feel like I should keep it in my hand. We're going to start with 6,000 from Jewelry Bonney into there. They're going to give me a 2k to save it, and that's fine with me. I am perfectly fine with just letting them have no resources in their hand and just going at their life slowly but surely. Now we'll swing 9,000 with Eustace Captain Kidd into the law. That they're going to have to let it go there. And now we're going to go with the Cavendish. Before we play Cavendish out, we're just going to swing 7,000. Because Cavendish lets you restand Dawn, it doesn't really matter what order we did that. Either way, 7,000 was a guaranteed hit. And we're in a good spot. For 6 Dawn, they're going to play down the OPO7 Boa Hancock. I have not seen this card played in many DOFFY decks. I like the spice though. That card is amazing. They're going to prevent the Cavendish from attacking, which I think is the right move. Now they're going to swing into Eustace Captain Kidd. I have to let him go. But the question is, do I rest Trafalgar Law and prevent them from swinging into my life? Or do I rest the Boa Hancock, who is a stronger swing, and I could potentially keep frozen with 10-cost DOFFY next turn? I decide that keeping my life is more important right now, and so that's why I rest the Law. I'll be able to swing into him with Leader. They might counter out of this. After that, I'll just probably swing with my Jewelry Bonney character. And then I have the decision to make. Do I want to go with 8-cost DOFFY? 8-cost Kidd or 10-cost DOFFY? I think 8-cost Kidd is the way, just because he is an awkward blocker that they can't get around unless they have Red Rock. We're going to play him out. We don't have any blockers. We don't have any counter in hand. So basically, we are just keeping him as a one-time turn staller, really. They're going to swing into him with Boa probably, or Leader, and use Leader ability, and we'll just rest the Boa Hancock and then play down 10-cost DOFFY next turn. And then if Cavendish stays on the field, we'll be able to swing with him and then restand the Dawn, which is great. They go for the blind Leader swing, and they do not hit, which is great. If they would have gotten maybe a Jimbei, that could have been really bad for us. We could even do Carrot and Basil Hawkins this turn. That might be a debatably better use of Dawn. No, I think 10-cost DOFFY is the way. Or tell me, chat, what do you think? Should I do Carrot, swing with Cavendish to restand Dawn, or should I just do DOFFY? I think DOFFY is the right answer because I get to freeze their leader as well. I think the game is in my reach. 6,000 with Cavendish. We've got 2 Dawn up for leader ability. They're not going to be able to hit my life this turn, and Next turn, I'm going to have some big swings coming their way. They do have another 6 cost Boa Hancock, so my 10 cost DOFFY will not be swinging next turn. That is a bummer. I still should be able to get lethal though, unless they play another blocker. They do not. I think it's just a numbers game here. 777. Who doesn't love that? I'm actually going to start with 6 from Bonney. I think I just do 6 because I don't want to commit 2 because like maybe I was still debating to play Shanks and KOing the Boa, but I don't think it really matters either way. 7 with my other Bonney, that gets it done. That's game. GG's. Bonney over the best deck in format. You heard it here first, folks. Now we've got a game against the new and improved Smoker, ladies and gentlemen. This deck has gotten so much better with the new starter deck support. It is something that we're going to see a lot of, probably, at least at the local scene. I know a couple of people will be playing Smoker. Might not be better than Lucci, but it is still a really good black deck. Especially with this new Sengoku card, you're able to trash 2 Navy cards from your hand, then draw 3 cards. That is an awesome card because you're able to set your trash for a Gecko play or a Rebecca play, and then you also get to draw 3 cards. Huge. We don't have anything to play with 3 Don, so we are just going to swing 7 into their life, which they'll take. For 2 Don, they're going to play brand new, do a search. They do get the Borsellino blocker. They trash a Rebecca, and I am not sure what that other card was. And now they're just going to go 7,000 at me. I'm going to rest their brand new searcher and then take that hit. It's a Jewelry Bonney searcher, which is nice. There we are with that Krieg. 6 drop. We can't play it this turn. Now would be a terrible time to play it, even if we could play it. We'll probably go with Carrot here. That's what I'm thinking. We won't leave a Don up to use leader ability, but that's fine. I doubt they're going to put Don on Sengoku and swing with that. If we can keep this Carrot alive, we're going to be in really good shape. Carrot is just such an amazing card in this meta. The issue is just it is easily removed. And here we go. 3 Don for Hina, then 3 Don for Kobe. This is why black is so strong, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why Sengoku is so good. You're able to see the cards you need to see. 5,000 at me. I'm going to take that as well. We've developed kind of a big hand, which is good news, but at the same time, we are susceptible to a potential Isho play, which would make us trash 2 cards. We get the 10 cost DOFFY off the top of our deck. That's pretty nice. We're just going to go with the 6 cost Basil Hawkins here. That kind of feels bad. They've developed a wide board, and all I can do is play 1 character. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They hit us with the Isho. We lose the Hody Jones, and then we also lose the Krieg, RIP Krieg, the true Pirate King. We're going to take the 5,000 swing and rest their Hina. Not giving them a 1k counter for that 5,000 power swing might be a little bit questionable in hindsight, but it is what it is. We're going to do 5,000 into life with our leader. The reason I'm swinging into life and not into the Hina is because we are going to keep that Hina frozen with a Carrot. So I just didn't want them to save or let the Hina go and then me not getting any value off the Carrot. 7 Don left to work with. I think we should just go Carrot here and freeze the Hina, but we did draw the Jewelry Bonney off of our search, and so we could have also frozen one of their Don. I think the Jewelry Bonney would be better to potentially freeze their Isho once that is rested, whether they swing with it or we rest it using leader ability. 10 down for them to work with. They were still at 4 life cards. I'm down to 2. They've got a better board than me. Things are not looking good for me, ladies and gentlemen. 12,000 at me with Isho. I'm going to use leader ability to rest their leader. And I guess just take this. Ooh, it feels bad going down. I guess I'll just block with Basil Hawkins, but I'm feeling really bad about our position. Now they can go 6,000 with brand new. I'm going to give them a 2k, or I don't even have a 2k. I've got to go 0 cost event. Yeah, we're going to get rid of Carrot because we're going to want to freeze one of their bigger characters, and therefore we don't want to get rid of Bonney. And now a 7,000 swing from Kobe. Maybe trash Hody Jones here. Yeah, it feels bad, but I don't want to go down another life. Now 2000 at the Jewelry Bonney, we gotta let her go. R.I.P. And yeah, it's gonna be a DOFFY turn, I guess, but it doesn't feel like a good DOFFY turn. Checking out their trash real quick, see what they can bring back with the gecko. I know they're gonna have a gecko. It's just inevitable. They always do. Pay attention, everybody. We have a little bit of a misplay alert. I swing 5,000 into the Hina, and that was a mistake. I should have been swinging into the lower cost characters first, just because the Hina will be frozen by my carrot or my 10 cost DOFFY anyway. And so I could have cleared their board if instead of swinging into their Hina, I swung into their Sengoku. Now, hypothetically, they can put a ton of Dawn on Sengoku and swing into my life or into my carrot. Either way, I do not like that. They've got 4 cards in hand. They probably will have something to develop. We haven't seen any Jacks from them. We haven't seen the new TCG or Hina from them, which is interesting. They've done a good job just with the cards that they've got. They're going to put a Don on Isho, giving all my characters -3. That is a really bad sign. And now they've got a Subaru as well. It seems they're going to try to get that 10 cost DOFFY off the board. That'll be a huge blow to me, and I don't really think I can come back without it. Now they're going to play the Gecko. They've always got the Gecko. Rebecca, maybe into a Hina? I don't know. Another Subaru is going to bring DOFFY down to 3 cost. What are they going to be able to get rid of it with? Oh, the Kobe. It's always that Kobe. Kobe's really good in this deck. They are able to get rid of my 10 cost DOFFY, and now we are in a bad spot. I think my best play this turn will be Jewelry Bonney and a Rouge. I'm going to start by swinging 5 into the Kobe. This is a misplay. I could have done 6 into the Kobe. I don't expect them to save it here, but they do give me the 2K. Now I'm going to swing 6 into the Hina, freezing the Kobe, but that's kind of a misplay. They could have blocked that with the Hina, with the Rebecca, and the Hina would have stayed alive. Yeah, not ideal sequencing for me. Not ideal swings for me. I did leave Adana's active, which, do your math, kids, you know. We do play the Bonney, freeze their Isho. We got the Rouge. We're setting Adana's active. We will be able to use leader ability. It's not looking good for us, though. 19,000 with Gecko. They don't have anything to play. And we're faced with the question. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do we rest their leader so they can't swing again? Or do we rest their Rebecca so that we could potentially clear their Gecko and Isho next turn? I'm leaning towards the Rebecca. Let's try to get their big bodies off the board next turn. Unfortunately, we don't top deck anything from our life or from our deck. This is not good. Another little bit of a math miscalculation. I should be swinging 11 into Isho because Isho is more valuable for them right now. Gecko is not as important as Isho is, just because Isho is going to get more value with that 1 Don, give every character -3. So swinging into the Gecko was a mistake there. Now I'm going to swing 10,000 into the Isho with my 6,000 power Jewelry Bonney, and I cannot believe it. They always have 2Ks. They are able to counter out, meaning that the Isho survives. This is bad for us. We're not going to swing into life there just because we don't want to give them any more resources. They're just going to be stuck with whatever they drew right there. They're going to get 1 swing on us this turn that we can block unless they're able to remove both of our blockers. It's not feeling good for us, though. They're going to swing big with Isho. We are going to block with Rosinante. Get it out of there. And now for 5 Don, do they have... They have the TCG. I thought maybe it would be a Sabo. The TCG is going to be able to get rid of one of my characters. It's going to be the Rouge. That feels bad. Cavendish is not a bad card to top deck right now. Of course, there are many other cards we'd like to see. But hey, at least we have the guaranteed KO of Isho. And then we freeze the Kobe. Then we can do just a 5,000 swing into life, hoping that we're not giving them any great cards. Like if we give them a Gecko here from life, that feels terrible. and they take both of the hits. We're in a pretty good spot actually now. We just have to keep 2 characters on board, really, and hope that they don't have Gecko. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. They got them either off life or they drew it. They have divine luck this game. I do not. But you never know what's going to come up for us. If we get a Hody, that would be really good for us. We are able to counter out if they swing into one of my characters. So we'll see what they do. They're going to bring back a Rebecca and a brand new. The brand new whiffs. What are they going to take with the Rebecca? They get the Hina, and they're going to play the Hina out. If they give a Don to their leader ability will be active, which isn't that crazy, really. I'm still going to be able to counter out of whatever swing they do. I'm going to rest. If I rest the Rebecca, I might win, actually. This is interesting. Are they going to swing into my characters or my life? That is the question. I do have a lot of counter. They do not know how much counter I have, but I've got a lot. They're going to do 8,000. Where is it? Where is it? It's into Carrot. We are going to be bold. We are going to rest the Rebecca blocker and counter out of this. I think this seals us the game. 5,000 into our life. We'll just take it. It doesn't matter at this point. We get the Krieg. The Pirate King returns. Now it's time just to go for it, ladies and gentlemen. 7,000 in the lead with Carrot freezing their Tashigi. We are in a great spot. We will likely get it here unless they have a crazy amount of 2Ks and my math is just poor. Now we'll go 7,000 with Jewelry Bonney. Actually, let's do 8,000 just because it would require either 2Ks or every card from hand. They take that, and now we can just throw it all on Cavendish and swing big. I cannot believe we came back in that game. I felt like we were always behind the entire thing. But I guess that goes to show you, never give up, folks. You can do it. GG's. Is Jewelry Bonney versus Black Yellow Luffy from Starter Deck 13. I believe that we have the advantage in this matchup just because we've got Hody Jones to rest their blockers, and then if we can chain Doffys together, we'll be able to prevent them from getting value on their powered up leader. We're on the odd curve and we're going to start out with the baby 5. Next turn we'll be able to search for it, and we're definitely looking for that 10 cost Doffy. That'll be huge in this matchup. They're going to see the Flampe early, which is great for them. Not only did we top deck a 10 cost Doffy, we also got one off the search. This is absolutely huge for us. I think Doffy is going to be one of our keys to victory, and now we've got 2 of them. It's 5,000 at our searcher. We're just going to let that go, resting the Flampe just because. Then they're going to play down the Kuzan. That Kuzan might be a little bit annoying. I don't have a play for 5 Don, so it feels bad, but I think I just pass here without doing anything. The good news is that if they swing at me, I'll be able to rest the Kuzan and then hopefully get it off board next turn. We are going to want to save the Hody Jones until late game. Amazing card. We're going to want to use that to rest their Sabo blockers and then go for game. But before we do that, we do need to establish some big bodies. They have the Makino to take the top card of their life. I'm thinking here that they're going to play a Little Brother card, at least one, and then use that ability to start powering up their leader. They do not, so maybe they don't have a Little Brother in hand, or they don't have any Big Brothers in their life. They play down the 5-drop Bounce Luffy. That card is annoying. Here I've got a little bit of a decision to make. I could go with Jewelry Bonney, freeze one of their Don, throw them off their Gecko turn, or I can go with the Basil Hawkins. I decided to go with the Basil Hawkins, but I don't really think it mattered too much. The Basil Hawkins will be able to get removed. The good news is that we will be able to get value out of it, though, before it gets removed, because they will need to swing. So here, I will use Jewelry Bonney's ability, rest their leader, and then just block for free with Basil Hawkins. Now they're going to swing with Flampe, then Makino, just so they can get the condition of all their characters being rested so that Hawkins will leave the field. I really need to get this Kuzan off the field too. That will be a problem if I start playing out big bodies and that Kuzan stays alive to lower the cost of them. We're just going to take that hit from the Luffy. They are going to use his ability to KO my Basil Hawkins, and I've got to let him go. Now they're going to play the 5-cost Sabo. I'm surprised we haven't seen any little brother cards yet. I guess they don't have them in their life, or they don't have the bigger brothers in their life. So a Sabo's a great card for them here, setting up a blocker. Then they drop the Nami blocker from starter deck 14. Now that is some spice. I did not know Black Yellow Luffy decks ran that card. Maybe it's just this person, but who doesn't love some spice? I've got 9 Dawn to work with. Not really sure what I should be doing here. They've got 2 blockers up. I can't imagine they'll give me this Kuzan. Yeah, they do the free block with Sabo. And I think we go Jewelry Bonney here to freeze one of their Dawn or one of their characters. I think that maybe Kuzan would be the right card to freeze here. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then a Rouge, play that as well. Hopefully, both of them will be able to survive. They could double bounce Luffy, both of them. So that's not ideal. And yeah, we get 1 Dawn up to freeze or to rest. I'm probably going to rest their Sabo or their leader. I mean, it depends who they swing with first. They might not even swing at all just because they don't want their characters to get rested. They do a search with the event and they do find the starter deck Monkey D. Luffy. They've got a lot of cards in hand. I imagine they must have another card to manipulate their life. By now, I would expect maybe a Hiyori or another Flampe, just trying to get their leader ability active because it's turn 5 and they haven't been able to take advantage of either the little brothers or just their leader ability in general yet. They are able to get rid of the Rouge. That is unfortunate. I really wanted to keep the Rouge on the board when I played Doflamingos because those two together go together like salt and pepper, go together like mac and cheese, go together like peanut butter and jelly. Having a 10-cost Doffy, playing a 10-cost Doffy when you have the Rouge already established is so nice because you're still able to do leader ability. They're going to swing 7 with Sabo, and I will just rest their leader. 3 Dawn left. Will we see another Nami blocker maybe? Or maybe they'll swing with the Nami blocker. I don't know. We get the Cavendish off of life. That's a good card, especially to pair it with the 10-cost Doffy as well. But once you get later on in the game, it can feel weird to play out the Cavendish just because it just doesn't feel as great as when you do it on curve. So we'll see if we'll be able to play it out. I think this turn is a 10-cost Doffy turn. We want to establish the big body, and we want to freeze their characters. Freezing the leader, Sabo blocker, and Kuzan feels absolutely great. They're probably not going to have a swing at us this turn. They are not able to do a Gecko leader ability play here. They might. Do they not have a Hiyori in hand or something? I don't know. A Hiyori would be very nice for them. But we are in a very strong position, I'd say. I like where we're at. We have just established our first big body. Next turn, we can do another Doffy. And then after that, it might be Hody Jones time. Start going for lethal. They're definitely in a weird spot here. They're going to do 1 Dawn for Flampe to take 1 card from their life. Then they're going to play the Makino to take another card from their life. This does set them up to use leader ability, but they won't be able to play Gecko on this turn as well, which is huge for us. We are perfectly fine with this outcome. They don't even play anything else with the remaining 6 Dawn they have. I wonder if they don't have a Sabo or what's going through their head right now. We are still in a very good position. I'm thinking that we go 5 into life. They don't have a target for the Monkey D. Luffy trigger, so we're fine to swing into it and just try to get it out of their life because it could be used alongside a little brother Monkey D. Luffy card to power up their leader and bring out a life. Now we're going to go 10 with Doffy. We should have done 6 with Bonney first. That was definitely a little bit of a ordering misplay. They block with the Nami blocker, which is interesting. Definitely seems like they're not trying to let these Luffys leave their life yet. They will give me the Hiyori 2K, keeping their Luffys in their life. We're going to play down another 10 cost Doffy, freezing their leader again, freezing their Kuzan, freezing their Sabo. We're in a good spot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if they do play a Gecko here, they would be setting themselves up pretty nice. Here we are with a Gecko. They could play a Kuzan as well, or they could go with two little brothers. They're going to have 2 Don remaining, which I don't know if they'll be able to get any value out of that 2 Don. Overall, it's not the worst thing in the world. They're going to go with the Nami blocker. I don't know. Tell me, chat, is that the right play there? I'm pretty sure they have a Kuzan in their trash. I feel like a Kuzan would be better than the Nami blocker, but hey, what do I know? They've got a ton of cards in hand. Maybe they don't have counter, and so they're nervous that if I push for lethal this turn, they're not going to be able to get out of my swings. They're going to go with the Nami blocker and the Monkey D. Luffy little brother. They will probably use that and power up their leader. They decide not to do the Monkey D. Luffy brother power up, and I think that's probably a misplay. They definitely want to keep cards in their life as a buffer because they could feel the pressure this turn. But I think making your leader 7,000 power and developing the 4 or the 5 cost Monkey D. Luffy would be a better position for you. That's at least my 2 cents. I don't play Black Yellow Luffy, so let me know in the comments down below. And it seems maybe they realized that was not the right play, or that it was just going to be GG's because I was in a pretty good position, if I say so myself. Let me know what you think. Did they play that wrong? Was I just in a dominating position? Maybe neither. Maybe we're both just cringe. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. What did you think about them? This lighting kind of makes it look like I'm in Twilight. We need to work on the lighting in this room. It's a new office space for me, so gotta figure out a way to make it look a little bit better. I appreciate you if you made it this far. If you didn't make it this far, I still appreciate you, but you also probably aren't hearing this message, so you won't know that. Let me know if there's any other leaders you want to see me play. I'm definitely down to some suggestions. The next couple weeks are going to be pretty busy with some tournaments, but I'm definitely trying to get some more content out, some different leaders, some off-meta leaders. Let me hear your suggestions down below. Don't forget, if you want to win the custom DOFFY Leader, all you got to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. And yeah, I think that's all I got for you today. Have an amazing rest of your day. This has been a Johnny TCG production. Peace.